This is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. And we have with us at WZRD, John Corabi. He is the singer for the Dead Daisies. How are you today, John?
I'm good. Just having some coffee and getting ready to fly to, I believe, Michigan.
So tell us a bit about the tour. It is tell us about your most recent tour. And so you're going to be in Michigan, and then you're going to be back in Chicago as well?
Yes, we are. Right now, we're in we're in Lidditz, Pennsylvania. We played Jersey and New York. We just started the tour a few days on June 6th. And I don't know the exact date. I know we're coming to the Arcada Theater in Chicago. We're playing we're leaving today to go to Michigan. And then we're going to go all the way out to the West Coast. And then we go to the UK and we do all of the UK. And then we're doing all of Europe. So we'll be out off and on until November.
Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, it's a long tour.
When you formed the Dead Daisies to keep rock alive. So how are you doing with that?
You know what? It's been great. We have a really good management team, social media team. So they've been instrumental in the growth of the band. But the fans have been amazing. We've got a couple members from Whitesnake, from Black Sabbath, myself. So it's been really super cool. We're stoked. It's good. We're getting great reviews and positive feedback from the new single, Light 'Em Up. And we're having fun.
How hard was it in the beginning?
Not, honestly, it was like anything, it's been a steady growth from the beginning of the band. But it wasn't hard. Our guitar player David and our management, they take really good care of us. So it's been a good growing experience. But the record I did with them, Revolution, it really kind of that was like the third record. The fans really embraced the sound of that record, and it took off. So everything's been positive.
When when the mission was made to keep rock alive, at that time, in the beginning, you weren't not able to get all the big players, but who was responsible for setting that goal?
It's just honestly, it's we don't worry about it anymore. The music industry has changed so much since we all started. Like right now with streaming and, record sales are, I think, kind of down for everybody because everybody streams music. And radio, unfortunately, in America hasn't really embraced a lot of bands that came from the era of music that I came from. But it's an uphill battle, but it's been good. It's been positive. The fans are coming out to the shows. They're supporting everything that we do. And I don't know, we're happy.
Yes. You're when you go on tour, is the reception the greatest great in all the places, or are there do you have more fans you know, are you a major presence in some of those countries, like the European countries, like which ones? And
Yeah, I think it's been unfortunate, but I think radio and just the industry as a whole in America has been a little slow embracing the daisies. We do much better in all the territories outside of America. Like if
oh,
we go to England, um, we'll play places that are between 2,000, 3,000 seat places. We get radio airplay.
uh-huh.
It's the same in Europe, South America, Japan. Um, but it's weird, you know how radio works. It's you know, usually there's a playlist created at you know, the main offices in Atlanta, Georgia, and they just get sent out to the radio stations. So um that's been a little bit of a hard nut to crack, but this new single though seems to be garnishing more attention at radio than our past singles. So maybe this is the record that actually helps us really kind of break in America. You know what I mean? So
You
we'll
mean
see.
you mean light them up?
Yes.
Yes.
You know, it's funny. We put it out and it blew up on YouTube. We had over 200,000 views in like 10 days.
Oh,
And but right now it's number two on the radio in France, and England or the UK, all through the UK. It's been really embraced on radio. So we're hoping that America comes to the table on this one.
well, we will definitely help you. I'm so glad that Jen sent us a lot of the tracks, and then we'll play them later.
That's cool. Good, 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 good.
Yes. So I guess you're the most profitable and the that helps you most in the music industry is going on tour.
Yes. Well, it's kind of that way for everybody though. Years ago, when I first came into the music business, you put a you put a record out and you toured to
Hmm.
support the record,
Hmm.
and you know, and you sold albums and you sold CDs. But now it's kind of the opposite. You put a record out to promote the tour because it's weird. I mean, when you sit and you look at bands like I mean, even your bigger bands, your Aerosmiths, your, you know, Kiss. I mean, Kiss didn't put a new record out for 10 years, 15 years. And you know, when they were asked about it, they're like, what's the point? Nobody's buying them. Everybody's streaming the music now. Um, so I think the music industry is trying to figure out that little glitch. But yeah, it's more about putting a record out and promoting the tour. It's the
Hmm.
weirdest thing because that's where the bands make the money now instead of from record sales. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But um, you know, there's a lot of things in the music industry that they need to figure out, like the streaming, AI is
Hmm.
become a huge thing now in the music industry and the film industry. So I think they're just trying to figure out how to keep up with technology.
Hmm. Right. When you so you have done tours for all your albums, I think, right? It seems as
Yes.
if yes. And which so is the which one would you say was the had the best reception? The best of one?
Yeah, I don't know because honestly, all of our we have the greatest fans.
Hmm.
We're in Pennsylvania right now,
Hmm.
and we just had fans come in from Europe to see our first couple of shows.
Oh, great,
We had
great.
fans. There was a fan here last night, a lovely girl named Atsuko that just came from. She flew all the way over from Tokyo
Wow.
to see our shows. So we have a really great core of fans that just love the band, and they get out there. They all start their own little Dead Daisies web pages, and they try to help us spread the word. So all of our tours have been great. I really can't pick one that was more, more exciting or bigger than any of the other ones, because they've all been awesome. You know, Dan, I'm sorry.
The Dead Daisies, the name, there's a special story behind the name. Could you tell us about it?
Yeah, there was a singer prior to me,
Mhm.
and he's an amazing singer, actually, a guy named John Stevens from Australia. And John had some heart issues, and apparently there was a comment made by his doctor. Um, I guess he had open heart surgery, and the doctor said something to him like, you need to chill out with your lifestyle a little bit, or you're going to be pushing up the daisies. You know, basically saying that they were going to be burying him in the ground and he was going to become plant food.
Mhm.
He just said, you're going to be pushing up the daisies. So when David, our guitar player, and John started the band, he just thought that was a funny statement, and they called the band the Dead Daisies.
Mhm. And all the artwork was derived from that name, and it was really cool.
Yeah.
And
It's a funny story. It's not a funny circumstance, but it's a funny story.
how is John?
Say what now?
How is John Stevens now? Is he
He's good. He's good. He's still, he's still doing his thing.
uh,
I don't really talk with him much, but I think he's an unbelievable singer. Um, John, for those that don't know, John replaced Michael Hutchins in Excess for a little while, and then he's got a band called Noiseworks in Australia. And he does a lot of solo shows on his own, and he's a brilliant singer. Um, and I've seen some photos and some videos of him doing some things down in Australia, and he looks healthy, he looks good, he's tan, he looks good.
mhm. How is the band? How is the Dead Daisies able to connect with all these stars from different bands to join you?
Well, we're all friends.
Mm.
It's funny, as big as the music industry is, it's very small. Like all the guys in the band now, I've known Doug Aldridge, our guitar player, since he was 15, 16 years old, 17 years old. I've known our bass player Michael since 1999. I've known Tommy Clefettos, our drummer, since probably around the same time, 1999, 2000. So we're just all friends. And then as you do this, you wind up becoming friends with other people and other bands. And, so if somebody, for example, if David can't do a show or two, we'll just pick up the phone and call one of our buddies and just say, hey, we need a guitar player for a couple shows. Can you come and do this? And they say, yeah, sure. So all of us have been friends for a really long time. And, again, because the music industry is so small, it's not that hard, to just look around. Like, we're friends with the guys in Buck Cherry and Seven Dust, and, we just know all these other bands. So we're friends with everybody. So it's just a very incestuous, small little community.
How about the musical influences? How since you are friends, how do the various uh brands of the different bands influence the other bands? Can you give us an example, if it
No,
does?
well, we're all pretty much We're kind of all from the same era of music, like 60s, 70s rock. We all grew up listening to the Beatles and the Stones and Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith, David Bowie, like all that classic, great music. So once we get in and we start writing, you know, we're we're all pretty much drawing from the same
Well,
era of music.
mhm.
So I think one of, like I was saying earlier, we are all friends. We're all around the same age. So I think in that aspect, our influences are all very similar. So it's really kind of easy for us to write together.
What about your fans? Your fans, you have young fans, right? And then how do they discover your music?
I think, well, here in America, it's probably word of mouth or on social media.
Mhm.
Um, but overseas, um, they hear the songs on the radio. And then obviously word of mouth, it gets out, magazines. Um, but it's funny, we are starting to see more and more younger, uh, late teens, early 20s. But it's funny, my son's on tour with us right now. He's helping our drummer Tommy with it. He's drum teching for him. And a lot of these kids now, because of YouTube, are discovering bands like Led Zeppelin, Sabbath, Black Sabbath, David Bowie, and they love it. They're like, wow, this was really cool. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think these kids are just looking for something uh, organic that they
Mhm.
can attach themselves to. And I think that's one of the things about the Dead Daisies. We don't use any tape. There's no backing tracks. If we have a bad night, we have a bad night, but um, it's organic, it's real, you know what I mean? And I think kids want that now.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Yes. Go. Hang on, Dennis?
Yes, hi Trudy.
Yes, I am going to yes,
interview's cutting into the
I am.
Pacifica.
I know, I'm going to preempt the Pacifica and then replay it at the end.
All right, you got it.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
And for instance, the young lady that you had that came from Japan, she was pretty young too, right?
Uh, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how old she is. I really don't.
It's hard to
But
tell. You should.
she's discovered the band
Mhm,
and she loves the band. Anytime we go to Japan, she comes to all the shows.
mhm,
Um, but we've done shows here in America, like when we showed up in New York. Yeah, when we were in New York. Um, no, actually, I'm sorry, it was New Jersey. And we got to Philadelphia, the hotel, and she came out, these two girls from Japan and two friends of ours from Michigan, and they came to see us in New Jersey. So they go and they see multiple shows, and then they go home, and then they come back again, and so I just think, like I was saying earlier, the thing with the Dead Daisies is it's organic, and I think people are they're craving stuff that's honest and organic, so I don't know. I have no idea how old she is. She's not older. She's you know she's young, but she's not that young either, so it's all good.
This is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM, And we have with us John Corabi of the Dead Daisies. We have preempted Democracy Now! For now, but afterwards we will re-air the preempted portion. John, what about the message that is in your music and in this 60s, 70s music? Do you think that perhaps that message is relevant to the current times, and that's what's helping you gain a lot of popularity?
Yeah, honestly, we are completely, all of us are inundated every day with bad news. So all the Dead Daisies want to do is get a bunch of people together, regardless of who they vote for. We just want to get a bunch of people together and just give them 90 minutes or 2 hours of fun and just forget about their days, just forget about their day for 90 minutes or 2 hours. And we don't care who you voted for, don't care what your religion is, don't care what color your skin is. Let's just go have some fun together as a group and just, that's it. Have fun, So that's all the Dead Daisies are. We have a blast. We have a lot of fun when we're on stage. And that's all we want our audience to do, is just come and forget about their day for 2 hours and have some fun.
It's almost like stop and smell the daisies.
Yes.
What about when do you have a chance to talk with your fans, and do they seem to come from all walks of life? What are they like?
Well, yesterday, usually when we get done, we get changed very quickly, and we try to go outside and say hello to the fans for a few minutes anyway.
Mhm.
And yesterday there was just some rock fans there that, there was a couple of guys that worked in factories.
Mhm.
And then there's a very good friend of mine that I've met over the last couple of years, who's actually a judge. Yeah, we have everything from factory workers to politicians, sports guys. Like I said yesterday, a judge came to see us play.
Mhm.
So yeah, we pretty much cover all the bases.
Okay. Tell us about a couple of your tracks, and so our fans could maybe look for the tracks, and are they all on Spotify and YouTube?
Yeah, everything. The Dead Daisies has their own Spotify page, and we're on YouTube. We have a channel on YouTube. We have a new track out right now called Light 'Em Up. Which is doing really, really well at radio on YouTube. And the fans seem to be embracing it. And it's just about life on the road, just getting out on stage and playing and having some fun and trying not to get into too much trouble. But we have that single is called Light 'Em Up, and the record is actually called Light 'Em Up. That's coming out in September.
And the tour right now will be of songs that will be coming out on that album, on Light 'Em Up.
Yes, we only added a few. Everybody wants to hear the old stuff too. So we're doing a little bit of everything. But I think we added I think we've got maybe 3 songs from the new record in our set. And we actually recorded 2 albums this year. We did the Light 'Em Up record, and then we recorded a blues album as well for future release. So it's a bunch of old stuff, 3 or 4 new songs, and then one of the songs from the blues record. It's pretty cool.
And who writes the new songs?
We all do. We just normally we get together and we just kind of sit around. We all have home studios, So we'll just put like little riffs on tape and then we bring it to the band and whatever little riff everybody's drawn to, that's what we work on, and then we finish the songs together. Yeah. So everybody in the band writes.
So does it start with the music or the story of the song?
Usually the music. It starts with the music, and then once I kind of get a vibe of how the song's gonna sound or the music, whatever, and I'll take the music into another room and I sit there with my computer and a notepad and try and come up with lyrics that make sense for everybody. So it's usually the music first.
Uh-huh. So you do most of the writing when you try to come up with the lyrics and match the appropriate lyrics to the music.
Yeah, I mean, everybody helps. Like if I, because sometimes it's a little bit of a chore to come up with lyrics. It's not easy. So Marty Fredrickson, our producer, he'll help us a bit. But it's not unusual for the other guys in the band to sit in the room with me, and if I get into a pinch and I can't think of anything, it's not unusual for them to help me either. So I would honestly say it's a very much a group effort to write the songs.
Well, was there any instance in which a song seemed to be hard to write, and then it came into being, and then it seemed that it was meant to be? Was there any song that was like that?
Yeah, it's funny. We have a song from a couple records back. We had the music done, and I kind of had a little bit of a melody, and but I couldn't think of any words. And I took a break for a second to go get a coffee. And as I was walking out of the room, our guitar player was in another room doing a guitar part. And I just asked him, I said, "How's it going, buddy?" And he just said, "Well, it's going pretty good." He goes, "But got a long way to go and no time to get there." And as soon as he said, "I have a long way to go and no time to get there," the light bulb went off in my head, and I went back into the room and we finished the song called "Long Way to Go."
Oh.
So it was a bit of an accident, but it was a beautiful accident.
Yeah, well, I hope that Jen sent me that one. I'll try to play it later. I'll find it.
Okay. It's out there.
Awesome, awesome. Well, John Corabi of the Dead Daisies, thank you so much for joining us on WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM today. Please let our listeners know where they could find more information about the Dead Daisies, about your tour dates and locations, and when you are coming to Chicago.
Okay. Well, they can, if they want any information, anything on the Dead Daisies, they can go to thedeaddaisies.com. It's got all the ticket information. There's videos there. There's photos. There's information about the record, the tour dates, and they can buy tickets there as well. So that's the one-stop shopping for the Dead Daisies.
Okay. Thank you so much, John Corabi. Have a great Light 'em Up tour. Have a safe trip, and we'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.